Oh, hello everybody. Oh, now then. Oh, I mustn't get in the way of the camera. I've changed the way of the camera. I've put it up there. I'm going to sort of go over there, so hopefully you won't just see the back of my head for the next hour. Hi everybody. Welcome to 2021. We're 2 days in, no asteroids as far as I can see, no dinosaurs. So yeah, we're doing okay. No vampires yet, no zombies. So I thought I'd run through a completely random, completely authentic run through of the Gorgon's Loch for you. From closed box, as you can see, 2 closed boxed. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. So this is exactly as I rammed it all the way after the last playthrough. You can still see dear Steph Wyeth's the black gem from last time. Really enjoyed that, Steph. And the darkness mover from last time, for those of you that caught the last stream. Really cool. Will definitely be playing that again, definitely. So I think first things first is to get the cards sorted. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, there's 4 character cards there, which means there's a character missing somewhere. Let's have a look. I'm looking forward to the retail version of this when we get a nice shiny insert in the box. There they are. Look, who was hiding? Ragnar Agathorn. Okay, cool. So I'll drag all these board pieces out. I think we'll play with a couple of characters again. It seemed quite fun last time for the black gems. We'll have a couple of characters to play off one another. Get these board pieces out. I've got a couple of those dials. Rules I'm down with. Campaign I'm not. So there's 6 campaigns in here. So let's go ahead and roll a single d6. Where are the bones gone? Ah, here they are. Here are the bones. Hope the dice cam's working okay. Seems to be. Cool. So I'm going to roll 1d6. Dungeon number 4. Which one's dungeon number 4? I hope this isn't one that we've done recently. Ebony and Ivory. Rest in Peace. The 3 Stones. Collector's Folly. Tipping the Balance. And Freedom or Torment. So we're going to go for Collector's Folly. Awesome. Special items. 1 magical combination lock tile. I spotted that earlier. What did I do with it? It's going to be in here somewhere. Like I said, a totally authentic run through, including losing all the bits you need. There we are. So that is... Oh, sorry, wrong camera. That's a magical combination tile. And that's to be placed on the discovery of a loose tile card. So that is a magical combination lock somewhere in the loch. And it gets placed when we find in the search pile a broken tile. So that's how that works. To complete this dungeon, you must search far and wide, more thoroughly than you have done previously. Hidden within this dungeon are 6 empty scrolls, a precious blue gem, and a shining yellow gem, all lost during an ill-fated but similar journey to your own. These items fit into a magical combination lock, which is also lost in the dungeon, hidden under a loose tile. Finding the imagination. Okay, so I've got all the instructions there, which I'll read again. So next job is to set up the dungeon. So I'll hoy everything over to one side, and apologies for the close-up on the back of my head. While I just sort this out a second. Right, I'll get all the bits out first, and then we'll see what we need. So we have. On the right hand side, of course, we have the vestry. We know that. All of the dungeons start in the vestry. That's basically the start room. A decent view of that now in the light. That's the vestry. I haven't really shown off these board pieces individually, but I ought to really. Let me make sure that's going to be in view. Yes, there we are. And now we have chamber number 1. All the board pieces are numbered on the back, so you can see which one. 2, 4, 1. There's 1. And there are no spawn points in 1, so it doesn't actually matter which way around you put it, but I'm going to put it the way it says on the dungeon. Okay, next comes corridor 1. I believe that's also a spawn point free one, but let's have a look. It is indeed. Know your dungeon. Blimey, this is going to be quite a large one. Okay, now we've got chamber 3. Chamber 3 goes here. And which way around? we've got the spawn points in that direction. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's chamber 3, guys. Or do I sense a Mama Penny heading my way with a fresh cup of coffee? What a legend. Hi, Mama Penny. We are currently live on Twitch. Please don't swear. You know how sweary you are. Hi.
Hiya.
Thank you very much. We've got the Elstrumwick Parish Council mug. Our lovely village decided to get together and buy us all mugs. How lovely is that? So thank you very much, Elstrumwick Parish Council.
Cheers.
Yeah. The camera's up here now. I've spotted it in the corner. So if you wander in, you can actually see yourself appear in the bottom left-hand corner if you take a step forward.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes, I can. Bye.
See you later, Mama Penny. Thank you very much for the coffee. Lovely. Right. Oh, I could do with a coaster, couldn't I? Oh dear. Blimey. Never seen you move so fast. Lovely. Thank you very much. Right. Wonderful. Cheers, Mum. Take care. Right. So we've got this. Now we're going to go for corridor 3. Corridor 3 is in here somewhere. Again, I'm definitely at the back of my head here, so sorry about that. Corridor 3 is going to connect there to the 3rd tile down. I'll just make sure this is all on camera still. It is. That's lovely. I'm really going to have to start moving some of this stuff out of the way, aren't I? Right, what else we got now? There's bound to be... Oh no, this is one of the rare... This is actually one of the rare maps that doesn't contain the Great Hall, the biggest one, which is definitely going to work in our favour as far as space is concerned. So we've got chamber number 4 now. That's got a couple of spawn points in, and that connects directly to the top of there. I really should have tested this out and set it all up on camera first, shouldn't I? But no, that seems to be working okay. Now we have corridor number 2. There's corridor number 2. You can see everything's got the stuff marked up there. It's all very simple to set up. And corridor number 2 has 1, 2 spawn points. So we'll pop corridor number 2 where it lives, which is in line with those 2. And now we have chamber number 2 that sits atop them all. There's chamber number 2. And chamber number 2 has 4 spawn points, and they sit that away. And 1, 2, 3, 4, so 5 in. 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's that 5th one that connects to that one. Lovely. Right, what next? Well, the next is, of course, to connect the dungeon. Of course, as those of you who maybe haven't seen the dungeon before may be able to see. Yo, Ghost! Congratulations, it's working. And it's daylight as well, so this is actually the cleanest looking version of the game you're going to see, man. Welcome, welcome. Okay, so we're going to be running through dungeon number 4. It's called Collector's Folly. We are looking for this magical combination tile and all the various things to fill it. This tile appears when we find a broken tile in here, the search pile. So I'm just putting the map together, Ghost. Ghost has been extremely proactive throughout this campaign, helping us to promote it and reminding you all to hit the visit project link on Kickstarter and various things. So very, very happy to see Ghost, because he was almost snowed away by a vicious snowstorm that arrived on the east coast of the US a few days ago. And he's been having all sorts of issues, hasn't you, mate? But welcome, welcome. I'd estimate this is probably going to be an hour, so yeah, happy days. You are very welcome to join us if you have the chance. Right, so I'm going to pop a little connector in there. For those of you who can see the map, actually, this is the very first iteration of the map book. And if you just go up to the piece I've just placed, which is here, you'll notice that there isn't actually a connector there. So that's another tweak that tends to happen, you know, between board iterations. But that is it. That is Dungeon 4 set out. We have two character counters here, so now we need to choose the characters. And of the 5, I will let Ghost decide which of our 5 characters we're going to play with. We're going to play with 2 characters for this one, Ghost. So rather than me rolling a dice, I'm going to let you decide. So Ragnar Agathorn, Norlessa Tundershak, Magnus Underhill, Erin Bloodborn, or Julius Farcleaver. So we've got a Viking, we've got a human raised by orcs, we've got a dwarf, we've got an elf, and we've also got a human mutant. Ice Scepter of the Frost Giant. I can't wait to see the Ice Scepter of the Frost Giant, and if possible, get it played as well, Ghost. That sounds awesome. Okay, which two characters would you like, sir? Norlessa and Erin, no problem. So Norlessa, Tundershak, and Erin, Bloodborn. Erin's my favourite character of the whole Loch, because of her teleport feature, which I very rarely get to pull out, actually. So perhaps today will be the day. Right, wonderful. So we've got the magical combination lock. That's just going to hang around here, drifting around in the mist, until we find in the search pile the broken tile, at which point we will place it directly underneath the adventurer who has searched for it. So that's going to sit there for now. Now let's have a look at the enemy pile. For this we've got 6 goblins, 12 skeletons, 4 skeletal bowmen, 6 wild hounds and 4 harpies. So anything above a harpy is not going to be in this scenario, which is fine. Let's run it authentically. Let's see what you guys are getting in the box and what the dungeons are saying. We do a live run through of a fan written scenario every single Thursday at 8 PM GMT. So if you do want to see what it's like to really get stuck into the higher, more powerful characters, then by all means come and join us for these. But in between the Thursday run-throughs of homebrew scenarios, I like to do authentic run-throughs based entirely on what's in the box. So I'm going to go ahead and give the enemy pile a good stir up. Yeah, I like this camera angle too, guys. We've just moved it. Essentially, I've taken it off this expensive and borrowed professional camera tripod, and I've currently got it hooked over a window rail. There's just a curtain rail in my office, and it seems to be working great. So yeah, I'm prepared to adapt and overcome when it comes to that. So why not? I'll give the enemy pile a cut and another cut. And I'll pop the enemy pile there so that we can kind of spawn them here. I think that's going to work okay. Right, our heroes I will pop up here so that I can keep an eye on, so I can sort of put their shopping down here. These enemies are not in this lock, so that's going to free up some room. Lovely. I've got the standees waiting here, ready to go. And without further ado, I think we can go ahead and start. So, Dungeon 4, Collector's Folly. Hidden within this dungeon are 6 empty scrolls, a precious blue gem and a shining yellow gem, all lost during an ill-fated but similar journey to your own. These items fit into a magical combination lock which is also lost in the dungeon, hidden under a loose tile. Finding the magical combination lock. Hey Anne-Marie, thanks for joining us. Hey Mama Penny, thank you very much for the coffee. It's lovely. Right, finding the magical combination lock. The first player who finds a loose tile card places the magical combination lock on the square their character is standing on. The loose tile card is then returned to the bottom of the search pile. And importantly, from that point on, every loose tile is returned to the bottom of the search pile. It's only the first one that comes out. To succeed, as well as finding out where in the dungeon the magical combination lock lies, you must locate 6 empty scrolls, a blue gem and a yellow gem. You must place the 6 empty scrolls and 2 gems into the magical combination lock. Placing a single item into the magical lock costs 1 action point per item. Only when all 8 of these items are in place in the magical combination lock will the next section become accessible to your party. If you are successful, read the success section under the dungeon map to discover what happens next. Perfect. Right, so I'll give the search pile a couple of 3 cuts. So that is a 100 card strong search pile right there. We've got our 2 characters ready, so we're going to play. So we've got Norlessa. There she is. She can start right there. And Erin, who will start there. I'll put everything sideways, so hopefully the camera can pick them up a little bit. So that's where we're starting. We're in the vestry. We're moving into this chamber that doesn't have any spawn points in. So we're reasonably good for searching and stuff at the start. Action points down to 0. Health points down to 0 for everyone. And so it begins. Right. I must move my coffee over here, guys. Otherwise I'm just going to keep leaning over you. Right, lovely. Dice cam's reasonably clear, I hope. And we begin. We shall go... we'll go in alphabetical order. So let's have Erin begin. Erin, we are rolling for her start health points. Oh dear. 3. Erin starts off very weak. And her start action points are 5. Okay. Another thing to get in place that's important are our characters' death markers, particularly given how many of our characters we've killed over the last couple of weeks. There's been some craziness. Ghost, did you manage to... I slept late just having coffee. Best breakfast ever. Awesome. Nice one. That's good timing. Well, I'm really, really happy you can join us for once, actually in real time, you know. So, yeah, we've lost loads of characters of late. One of the most savage was actually your scenario, Ghost. That killed everyone. It killed every single person. Right, and as soon as your homebrew created enemy, the Globber and Goblins appeared, it literally appeared, spawned a couple of Globbers, went clonk and killed the last player character, and that was it. Which, of course, as you know, I then did a little 10-minute section just showing the Globber and Goblins and how they move because I was so impressed with them. Yeah, I like the death chits as well. They've got the same skull artwork as on the back of the enemy cards. You turn them over, it just says death marker, but people, rather than removing them from the table, they're just turning them over when they get killed. So essentially you've got 4 lives, because you can get killed 3 times and then you are mortal in this dungeon. So you can actually run through 4 times. You can be reincarnated back to the start 4 times. So okay, Erin has 5 action points. She's going to use them very simply. 1, 2, 3, and then she's going to do a couple of searches. First search is a bottle of Bilton's brew, and the second search is an enemy. Of course it's an enemy. Of course it's an enemy. So we're already into the enemies. Lovely. And the first enemy is Skeletal Bowmen number 1. I wonder if I might utilise some of this space here for the enemies. Might be a bit easier for me to, you know, picking cards up and stuff. So Skeletal Bowmen number 4, in fact. There we are. Arrives in front of Erin. Erin's run out of action points. She has none left. But luckily for her, it's Norlessa's turn. So hopefully Norlessa can roll something and help. Here we go. 6 health points. A little bit better than Erin, but they're both pretty weak considering, you know, the maximum's 12. And 4 action points. Is that enough? Let's have a look. 1, 2. Leaving her with 2. Of course, she's then going to use one of those immediately to attack the Skeletal Bowman. It's only got 1 health point. It only defends with 1d6, so anything over 7 and above is an insta-kill. Oh, it's a 6, so it is survivable, but only with a 6. Which it isn't. Okay, so off goes the first enemy. And now Erin has a single... Sorry, Norlessa has a single action point remaining, and with that she's going to search. Oh, a trap! This is a snake bite trap. Roll 1, 2 or 3, you are unharmed. 4, 5 or 6, lose a health point. Lovely, unharmed. She's great. And that's it, that's the end of the turn. No enemies on the board. We're rolling again for action points for dear Erin. 10, that's more like it. So, with 10 action points, of course, she's going to do some searching. First search is a scroll of immunity. Second search is a small health vial. Third search is an enemy. Okay, so she's got 1 search left. She's used 7 action points, and she's about to be faced with skeleton number 10, who appears in front of her. 2 health points. So she's going to use one of her remaining 7 to attack it. Scoring 5, it defends with a single d6. And scores 4, but it has 2 health points, so it only loses 1. So it survives that attack. Second attack from Erin. That's more like it, 9. So it can't possibly defend with a single d6, so it too is dead. Because it's not the enemy turn yet. So although you spawn enemies, you do get to finish all your action points first, and then we get to the enemies. So the turn order is Erin, followed by Norlessa, followed by every enemy in the order in which they were spawned, and then back we go to Erin again, and that's how we run around. Okay, hope that's clear. So there goes skeleton number 10. Erin has 5 action points left, but 1 search. This time a spider bite. Again, exactly the same mechanic. Roll 1d6, 1, 2 or 3 unharmed, 4, 5 or 6 lose an action point. Sorry, lose a health point. And she's unharmed. That's great. So she's got 4 action points remaining, and she's going to use them just to wander the loch. There we go. Now it's Norlessa's turn. Yeah, it's nice and simple, right, Ghost? It's just a very simple flow, and it helps everyone. You're bound to get confused sometimes, and I have got confused many times on camera during these live playthroughs already. But if you just think back to the last bit of action, right, who attacked who, and if you can be absolutely certain what just happened, then you can be exactly certain where that memory was in the circuit of turns, and then you can kind of nibble your way back, and it's relatively easy to work out what's going on. The hardest thing, of course, is to remember to take note of your action and action points every single turn, and that's going to be made much easier when we upgrade these dials that we're not massive fans of to the ladder and cube system. So we have literally a couple of different coloured cubes showing where your health is and where your action points are at any one time, and I think that's going to be much easier to use. All right, so that's Erin's turn. Over, there are no enemies on the board. Back we go to Norlessa for action points. 4 action points, so she's going to start searching again. She's going to find a gold piece. Right delirium. An ethereal voice calls out your name from the shadows. Confused and disorientated, your turn ends. So there go all of Norlessa's action points, which I totally forgot to mark up anyway. Oops, forgot to roll that 2d6 there. 6, right. So back to Erin. Erin's got 6 action points to use. What are you going to do with them, Erin? You are going to beast on into here. 1, 2, 3. Let's have a look. There are no spawn points here. 4. Let's have a couple of searches. 5 is Wyeth's Chakram. That's the ranged weapon. I've just realised, Ghost, you probably haven't seen many of these cards up close yet, because of course you've had such a rubbish signal, haven't you? And 1 more, a gold ring. Wonderful. There we are. So let me just jump off and do something real quick, guys. Because what I'd quite like to do, if at all possible, keep the spam out of the chat. That should disappear now, I'd imagine. Right, onwards. So, right, where are we? We've just rolled for that. We've got 6. So she's found Wyeth's Chakram and a gold ring, so that's her turn over. So now it's the turn of Norlessa. So Norlessa's rolling for action points. 10, lovely. Right, so I think we're just going to beast on into the dungeon, huh? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and why not? 8, leaving her with 2 action points, 1d6 to spawn enemies, up to 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. 2, and the 2 enemies are Skeleton number 7 and Goblin number 2. There we are. So we've got skeleton number 7 here. Goblin number 2. There. Lovely. Right, so we've got 2 action points remaining. I've got 2 action points remaining, and I've just picked up Wyeth's Chakram. For a moment, I didn't think there was anything I can do, but of course I can. I can use Wyeth's Chakram, so that's precisely what I'm going to do. It only attacks with a single d6, but both of these enemies only defend with a single d6. So with my 2 remaining action points, I will attack first the skeleton with 5. It defends with 5. Okay, it's fine. And I'm going to go ahead and attack the skeleton again with 3, and it defends with 3. Okay, so it's a reasonably resilient skeleton. That's the turn of Erin over. Now we move to Norlessa. Norlessa's all the way back here. Norlessa, get with the programme, would you? That's 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We'll get her to the start of that corridor. And now we go to the enemy turn. So we've got skeleton number 7 has a movement of 3. It's going to drift 3 squares towards its nearest player character. Goblin 2 will do the same with its movement of 2. And that's it. Back we go to Erin. 7. Right, well I think what she's going to do is get herself right in between the enemies. 1, 2, 3. And that leaves her with her 4 possible attacks if she needs them, and she doesn't need to move. She's got a diagonal attack on the goblin and an adjacent attack on the skeleton. So she's going to try and take out the skeleton first. That's right, Steph Wyeth's Chakram. The name for it is inspired by our friend Steph Wyeth, who then went ahead and wrote the Black Gem scenario the other day. Yeah, absolutely. 10. Absolutely destroyed skeleton number 7. So off it goes to the bottom of the enemy pile. Oops, rattling the dungeon half to pieces in the process. Apologies. Right, so that leaves 3 action points. Skeleton number 7 has gone. Now we're going to attack goblin number 2. Always a shame when it's an insta-kill, but as you can see, an insta-kill it is. So that's out of there, because an attack of 10 cannot be defended with a single d6. Good. Right, off you go, goblin number 2. 2 action points remaining. I think she's going to search. Gold piece. And search again. An empty scroll. That's as good, because we're going to need 6 of these. So she needs to sit on that empty scroll. That's good. That's the end of Erin's go. See, I was thinking about the goblin first, but I was worried about the skeleton being more powerful. I just spotted that. Sorry, my chat's lagging behind a bit. Mama Penny, you make a great cup of coffee. Okay, so that was Erin's turn. Here we go with Norlessa. 7. She's going to join the party. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. She's going to almost join the party. Okay, back to Erin. 9. So with a 9, I think she's got to do lots of searching. So now it becomes resource management. So we've got Erin's empty scroll there. We've got treasure we can use for trading at the end, should we move on. Got a magic scroll, a small health vial. Okay, so that's kind of treasure there. That's a weapon, so we'll leave that out. The small health vial and Bilton's brew are very close to being the same thing. The health vial will restore 1 health. The Bilton's brew will restore 2. And a throwaway scroll of immunity should I fail to defend myself against the trap. Oh no! Buffering. Fear not. I'm sure. I'm sure it's going to get better. Goes. Have faith. Maybe drop down the quality of the stream for a little while, and don't put it on auto. Just drop it to the one below. It's automatically choosing. So if it's choosing 480, go 360. And with luck and a fair wind, you will be okay and still be able to join us. Right. She's got 9, so she's going to do some searching. She found that scroll. She's got 8. This next search is for a falling rock trap. We've had them all thus far. So we've got falling rocks now, spiders, snakes, falling rocks. So the falling rock trap, let's have a look, see if we can stop being harmed. 1, 2 or 3 unharmed, 4, 5 or 6 lose a health point. It's a 6, so instead of losing a health point, because she's only got 3 health points, she's going to use her scroll of immunity. And there we are, happy days. So the Scroll of Immunity will reverse the effect of a triggered trap. You must then return this card to the bottom of the search pile. There we go. I'm just going to quickly pop OBS back on. I'll be about 10 seconds. We are back. Lovely. And now I can see that I've put this treasure in the way of the link, so I'll just shove that over here a little bit. Right, where are we? 8 action points remaining. So let's obviously have our third search. A gold piece, lovely, and finally a small health vial. There we go. So you only got 5 action points left now. There's not a lot more to do here. I'll let Norlessa catch up. So because I've only got 3 health, I'm going to use 3 of my remaining 5 action points to take a small health vial, Bilton's Brew, and another small health vial. So adding those up, that's going to give me an extra 4 health points. So I shall take those 3 off, leaving me with 2. Add an extra 4 health points, so my 3 becomes 7. And then with the last 2 action points, I'm just going to go ahead and press on into the dungeon like that. Okay, right, now there's no enemies on the board, so it's back to Norlessa. 9, that's more like it. 1, 2, leave her with 7. Now she's going to keep searching for some stuff. First search is an enemy. Of course it is. Of course it's an enemy. So you find an enemy in the Loch. And it's skeleton number 4. Oops, skeleton number 4 appears in front of Norlessa. So now she's got 6 action points remaining, so of course she's going to use one to attack the skeleton. Scoring 5, it defends. Scoring 6, so it's fine. Okay, Norlessa's second of 4 allowed attacks. 9, that's an insta-kill. It only defends with 1. So even though it's got its 2 full health, the maximum it could have defended against was 8. That goes to the bottom. Oh, there's something green on the bottom here. What's that? Have I put... Yeah, I put the falling rock trap from earlier to the bottom of the enemy pile because I considered it an enemy. Yeah, I'll put it under its proper pile. There we go. Right, so that skeleton has been vanquished. Farewell, skeleton number 4. We've got 4 action points remaining, so she's going to 1, 2, 3, 4 move on up into the dungeon. Again, no enemies. Back to Erin. 6. Right, so I think Erin should start searching. First one, a scroll of immunity. That came in handy last time. Second is an empty scroll. Good stuff. I'll add that to the pile. The third is the white key. This is good treasure, worth 5 gold pieces. The fourth is a clay pot. Again, it's only worth 3 gold pieces, but it is good treasure. So that's all of Erin's 4 searches. She had 7 action points, so she's got 3 left. 1, 2, 3. As she moves her way into the dungeon. Now on to Norlessa. Rolling for action points. Ah, Ghost. I'm sorry it's still buffering, man. I hope it sorts itself out. 10. Right, Norlessa's got 10 action points, so I think she ought to search first. Oh, of course, of course. Of course it's the first enemy. Sorry, the first search yields an enemy. So she's got 9 left, but the enemy that appears in front of her is Wild Hound number 5. It's Wild Hound number 5. It's single health point. So she's going to attack it. And scores 5, so it can survive. Rolls a single d6 and does survive. So Erin now has, Norlessa now has 8 action points left. 3 potential attacks if she needs them. The second attack on the Wild Hound looks like an insta-kill. It's 7. It can only defend with 6. It has a single health point. Goodbye, Wild Hound number 5. And I think we may have lost poor Ghost from the chat. I'm sorry about that, Ghost, but I'll pop the recording back up for you. Right, so Norlessa's got 8 action points remaining. No, she hasn't actually. She searched once, found an enemy. She had 10. Searched once, found an enemy. tried to kill the enemy and failed, then tried to kill the enemy and succeeded. So of course that's 3. So her 10 becomes 7. She's got 3 searches left. She's going to go for her second search. And she pulls Jocks Madness. Having a nightmare. So Jocks Madness reads, a mysterious cloud of smoke engulfs you. Coughing and choking, you fall to your knees and close your eyes. Confused and disorientated, your turn ends. So there go all of Norlessa's action points down to 0. No enemies on the board. Back we go to Erin. Oops. Erin is rolling for action points. Oh, 3. Well, she's definitely searching. First one's a small health vial. Good, good. Second search yields a medium health vial. Even better. And third is a snake bite. So, the snake bite, like all the other traps in the Gorgon's Loch, roll a single d6. 1, 2 or 3, you're unharmed. 4, 5 or 6, you lose a health point. Oh, unless, of course, you throw the dice off the table, then you have to roll the dice again. And it's a 1, so she's absolutely fine. And even if she wasn't, I've just picked up the Scroll of Immunity, which, of course, I can just hand over and get it done anyway. Lovely. Right, that's everything. She only had 3 action points, 3 searches. That's what she gets. So now we go on to Norlessa. Norlessa's rolling for action points. 5. Okay, so again, need to search and find these items. There's a clay pot for Norlessa. A medium health vial. Carter's slippers. These soft shoes allow you to creep around silently. If an enemy cannot see you, they will not follow you. They're useful. And finally, a medium health vial. All good stuff. So she had 5 action points. She searched for 4 of them. So she's going to use up her final action point to take the medium health vial, pushing her health points from 6 to 8. No enemies on the board. Back we go to Erin for action points. 9 action points. This is good. So, search again. Right delirium. Straight away. Bang. Goodbye action points. Oh well. That's the way the Loch crumbles, sadly. So sorry about that, Erin. No action points for you. On to Norlessa. Norlessa has 7. She again continues the search. And she finds a loose tile. Now, the wording of this card is quite important, because this card, there's 4 or 5 loose tiles around the Loch, and they are in the search pile, so this is how we've worded it. You find a loose tile. This badly fitting stone seems to have neither value nor purpose. Return this card to the bottom of the search pile. However, if you're doing this particular scenario, we know that finding the loose tile, and if you check out the artwork, of the magical combination tile, and you will soon see a similarity. So, this goes to the bottom of the search pile, but the magical combination lock goes directly underneath Norlessa Tundershak. Wonderful, there we are. So, that was her 3rd search, I believe. So, her 4th search. Oh, of course, it's a spider bite. Of course, it's a spider bite. So, she rolls 1d6. 1, 2 or 3 unharmed, 4, 5 or 6. Lose a health point. 3, she's unharmed, fantastic. So that's Norlessa's turn over. But she has found the magical combination lock, which is wonderful. She's got nothing to put in it, because just going back to the dungeon booklet for a moment, you can see that, that what we're after is a blue gem, a yellow gem and 6 empty scrolls. However, Erin has already found a couple of those empty scrolls, and I'm going to get those in the combination lock as soon as possible, for reasons that I'll make clear in a moment. So that's Norlessa's turn. Well done for finding it, Norlessa. You rock. Now we're going to go to Erin, because there's no enemies on the board. Yeah, that's more like it. Erin's got 11. So, 1, 2. We'll leave her with 9. And she's right next to the magical combination lock. She's going to place 2 of the 6 empty scrolls we need into the magical combination lock, taking her action points from 9 to 7. She hasn't got anything else here of any great value. But she does still have 7 action points remaining, so she's going to keep searching. This is a normal turn, so she's allowed to search up to 4 times if possible. First search is a green gem. Blimey, that was close. but we're after a blue and a yellow gem. You could almost mix them together and call it a green gem, couldn't you? The second is a blue gem. Awesome. You guys saw me shuffle the pile, right? So straight in with the blue gem. So that's 2 searches, taking her action points down to 5, and then she's going to use one of those action points to immediately put that blue gem into the combination lock. The reason for this, in fact, I'll just use up her remaining 4. So she's found, she's had 2 searches, so we're going to go for the 3rd search now. A yellow gem. That's the yellow gem we're after. That's incredible. I didn't set this up. You saw me shuffling. This is the Gorgon's Loch. This is the Gorgon's Loch. Sometimes it's like this. Sometimes there are 100 cards apart. Incredible. I'm going to go ahead and pop the yellow gem in there as well, leaving us with 2 action points. She's got a single search left. She's going to take it and finds a scroll of protection. We're only after empty scrolls to go in here, so magical scrolls aren't going to do it. That leaves her with a single action point, and with that single action point, she is going to take a step away. So we now know we've got the combination lock tile. We've got both of the gems. We're only after 4 empty scrolls now, and we can complete this, which is incredible so early on. I'm so pleased with that. Right, so before we get on with Norlessa's turn, I'll move those dice so I don't get confused with this. The reason why, when I'm finding things and I'm so close to the combination lock that I'm going to go ahead and get them into the lock as soon as possible, is because if Norlessa or Erin is unlucky enough to be killed while holding any of this stuff goes straight to the bottom of that pile and needs searching through again. Now, it's not the end of the world. You can do it in half an hour or so. You're going to search up to 4 times and run through 100 cards. Simple maths dictate that's not going to take too many turns to do. However, rather than setting yourself up for a 20 or 25 turn hunt back through the thing, if you do have a scenario where there's an endpoint like this that involves collecting things and placing them places, get them placed as soon as possible would be my advice. So we've got two of the 6 required empty scrolls. We've got the blue gem and the yellow gem. We're 4 scrolls clear, and it's Norlessa Tundershak's go to roll for action points. 6. Obviously, we're going to start searching. We find a loose tile. That's no good to us. We find a scroll of vitality. That could be useful to us. We find a medium health vial. And we find the scroll of anger. And the magical scroll of anger allows you to roll 1 extra dice in attack. Obviously costing you 1 action point. And the scroll of vitality allows you to increase your own or someone in the same room's health by 2 points. As a single-use throwaway magical item. So she had 6. That was her 3rd search. So her final search is a medium health vial. So now she's got 2 left. Anne-Marie, amazing how things can change from one place to the next. Just watching that gem find. Presumably, if you'd set it up, you'd have been a sight more subtle. Yeah, a little. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah. No, I didn't set anything up. This is a closed box to closed box scenario. When I opened it up, it still had all the paraphernalia from the Black Gem homebrew scenario that Steph Wyeth wrote for us. So this is a genuinely authentic run through, and I gave that pile a darn good search and a couple of cuts on camera. So it is what it is. There we are. Right. So of the 7, she's had her 4. So she's going to do 5, 6, 7, and I think we're going to go and plough into the rest of the dungeon now and see if we can find this stuff. That's Norlessa's turn over. Off to Erin. 12. Right you are, Erin, if you want to be like that. Obviously, we're starting to search first. We've got a red gem, a clay pot, a black key, and a scroll of power, which is the same as the scroll of anger. 1 extra dice in attack, then it's a throwaway. So that's her 4 of the 12, leaving her with 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we've decided to go and investigate that side of the dungeon. Right. Anne-Marie, yeah, Ghost's having connection problems again, but don't worry about it, because as soon as this is over, I'll take the video and I'll pop it on YouTube, and then I'll stick that link on the on the campaign page as an update, so that Ghost will be able to go back and look at it at his leisure. I hope. I can only assume that it's weather related, because Ghost is East Coast USA, and he's had some terrible weather over the last few days. So, but really lovely to have him join us for a while, and I hope he's enjoying his breakfast. 9 action points for Norlessa. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna have a search. Finds a scroll of power, a medium health vial, a small health vial, and another loose tile. So of the 9, 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's a single action point left, and she jumps onto the lava bridge. Now we go to Erin once more. Erin rolls 6. The first thing she's going to do is try to activate her specialist skill. We haven't touched on this yet, but Erin's specialist skill is to teleport, and she's allowed to teleport into any room that doesn't have an enemy, any square in an adjacent board piece that doesn't have an enemy, a spawn point, or another player character on it. However, she's only allowed to attempt to do this once per turn, and like every other specialist skill in the Gorgon's Loch, she needs to roll 2d6 and score exactly 12. So, good luck, Erin. Double 6 coming up. I'm afraid not. Okay, so she's got 5 action points remaining. She can have a search, a large health vial, another search, a clay pot, another search, a scroll of immunity. She has 2 of those now, and another search with her final action point, and of course, the final action point pulls an enemy. So, which enemy is it going to be? Can Norlessa help? It's a Skeletal Bowmen. Skeletal Bowmen number 2. So, Skeletal Bowmen number 2 is there. This was Erin's turn, so now we've got Norlessa's turn. Skeletal Bowmen number 2 needs to arrive and stand there, meaning that Erin can't help in actual fact, because Erin would have to be able to pass through through her fellow player character, which of course she is allowed to do, but then there needs to be space between the player character and the enemy. So saving a search till the end of your turn for your very last action point can be risky, and this is one of the reasons why. Right, Norlessa is rolling for action points. She has 3. She can't search from there because she's on the lava bridge between this section and that section, so she counts as being in both. So she's going to use 1 to move back. And with the remaining 2 action points, let me just roll Erin's back to 0. With the remaining 2 action points, she's going to search, finds a large health vial, and she's going to search again and finds a gold ring. So now it's the enemy turn. The Skeletal Bowman is going to attack Erin Bloodborn because it's toe-to-toe with her. And it's a big one. It's 9. Erin has 7 health points. If Erin was to roll a Snake Eyes now, the difference would be 7, and she'd die. And all of this stuff would go to the bottom of the search pile. So let's see. She's defending against 9. She scores 8, so she loses 1 health point. But she did survive. Right, now it's Erin's turn. Erin obviously is going to attack the Skeletal Bowman. 7 or more is an insta-kill. Let's see how she does. 4, not great. The Bowman defends. With 6, it's fine. Okay, so how many action points did Erin have? I didn't roll for action points today, I'm sorry. Erin has 7 action points, and she just used 1 failing to kill the skeleton. So now she's going to go for her second, leaving her with 5. That's 7. It's an insta-kill just. Farewell, Skeletal Bowman. You did well. So now she has 5 action points remaining. She's going to search. Finds a gold piece. Search again. She finds the Boots of Haste. Now these are interesting. A lot of people have used these to their great advantage while running campaigns. They allow you to move an optional 3 squares without using your allotted action points. In fact, up to an optional 3 squares without using your allotted action points. So the Boots of Haste the moment you find them, much like the weaponry, you are wearing them. Now, at the moment, Erin has... oh, no, sorry, I thought that Erin also had Carter's slippers on, but she doesn't. But the way we've set it up is that you could theoretically have Carter's slippers on and then slip the Boots of Haste over them. So there's no real ambiguity there. You'd just be able to call upon the powers of both of those bits of armour. But as it stands, they've both found a useful piece of armoured boot. Alright, so that was Erin's search. She's got 4 action points remaining. She's going to search again. Finds a gold piece. And I believe that is her final search. So with 4 action points remaining, 1, 2... Oh, in fact, I'll go this way. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm just going to head back toward Norlessa. Now, Norlessa needs to do a bit of item management here. So that's the first thing she's going to do. What Erin's got here is a nice little pile of treasure, as you can see. Now, treasure's great for at scenario end, for trading, for buying health point buffers and all various other things that are all in the rulebook. But at the moment, treasure's not actually that useful within a single playthrough scenario like this. So we'll have all the bits of treasure she's picked up, like clay pots and whatnot, I will place in a treasure pile for her to add to. Her health potions I'll put all together. Quite a lot of health potions, that's really good. So that's all her health potions. The magical scrolls, she has the scroll of power, the scroll of vitality and the scroll of anger. So they can sit there, and she is also wearing Carter's slippers. So with that in mind, Norlessa's rolling for action points now. 8 action points. Well, obviously she's going to search. Gold piece. A clay pot. A gold ring. Lots of treasure. And another gold piece. Okay. So that leaves her with 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm just going to move her next to the magical combination lock. I've got a vibe that she's going to start picking up these scrolls and stuff now. So there's no enemies on the board. Back we go to Erin. 7. Again, I'm going to get through some of these searches. So we've got Bilton's Brew. The Scroll of Death, handy. Another Scroll of Death. And the Scroll of Protection. So again, she's got 7, so we'll just move, I think 1, 2, 3, and these guys can do some trading between themselves. So I'm just going to tidy up some of Erin's stuff. She's got lots and lots of magical scrolls. So let's pop the scrolls together. Wow, lots of magical scrolls to get through. We've got a couple of 3 health potions there at the bottom. We've got a couple of scrolls of death. They're actually the most powerful scroll in the game, and she found them both in concurrent cards, which is as weird as finding both of those gems for this scenario next to each other. But again, that is the Gorgon's Loch. It tends to throw random stuff like that at you, so it's all good. It's all good. Right, that's the end of Erin's go. We're rolling for Norlessa's action points now. 7. Right, so she's going to have a search. Finds a small health vial. Another small health vial. A black gem. That's darn good treasure. And an empty scroll. The 3 of 6. So we got that scroll now. She rolled 7 action points. So I'm going to. I've used 4 of those. She's got 3 left. So I'm going to use 1 to place it into here, and with the remaining 2, I'm going to move over to Erin Bloodborn, whose go it now is to roll for action points. And she's got 5. So I think obviously search 1. Finds a small health vial. Second search, a clay pot. Third search, a gold ring. And fourth search, a large health vial. And let me see. With a final action point, does she want to... Yeah, I think she'll give a Scroll of Death to Norlessa, and then we can just get rid of any bad guys without worrying about dice rolls and stuff, should we find them, because obviously there's more searching to do. So that's the end of Erin's turn. So now we're back to Norlessa for action points. 9 action points, okay? First search, small health vial. Second search, Erimor's bow. So now both characters have a ranged weapon. Third is an empty scroll. And fourth is the Golden Brooch. Golden Brooch is a great piece of treasure. It's worth 50 gold pieces. It's the most expensive piece of treasure in the Loch. That's the four allowed searches for this turn for Norlessa. She rolled 9. She got 9 action points, so she needs to use 5 now. So what she's going to do is she's going to move 1. She's going to put the empty scroll in here. 2. She's going to move back to Erin. 3. And she's going to gift Erin a couple of medium health vials to even the score between the two piles of health stuff they have. Now it's Erin's turn. 7. Again, we're on the search for these scrolls. Gold piece, an enemy. So that scuppers that. Okay, so she had 7 action points. Searched 1, found a gold piece. Searched another, found an enemy. And that enemy is Skeletal Bowman number 3. Now she's going to attack said Bowman. 7 or above insta-kill. No, it's a 3. It's only a 3. Leaving her with 4. The Bowman defends with a 2. It loses its 1 life point. Blimey. A 3 was enough to kill it at close range. So yeah, they're weak, but they attack with the same power as a player character from a distance. So when you encounter a Bowman, let's say you walk into this room and the very first thing to be spawned is a Bowman, the spawn point is here. So although it can't get to you with its movement, if it can see you, it will be able to hit you, and it attacks with 2d6, so they are quite powerful. I know that doesn't really belie that when you spawn a Bowman directly in front of you and then smash it out of existence before it gets an opportunity to attack you. Right, we're now in an enemy-free room again. We're going to search again and find one of these other scrolls, or indeed we would do if we weren't taken over completely by Right's Delirium. So off go any remaining action points. And we are back to Norlessa. 5. First search, Bilton's Brew. Nom nom nom. Second search, a gold piece. Third search, a scroll of defence. Works the same as a scroll of power or anger, except that this time you roll an extra dice in defence. The only major difference, of course, is that it doesn't cost you an action point to use, because the only time you'd be rolling an extra dice in defence is while defending. Therefore, it's not your turn. You're being attacked. And finally, a small health vial. So, 1 action point remaining. So let's go ahead and give... Well, I've got a scroll of power and a scroll of anger, so I'll give the scroll of power to Erin with my final action point. Okay, Erin's turn. 8. An empty scroll. That's good, leaving her with 7. I don't want to risk getting killed, so I'm going to go 1, 2, 6, 5, and then 4 to use 1 to place it in. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the 6 required empty scrolls now. Erin has 3 of her 4 allowed searches remaining. 4 action points. Let's have a look if we can find it this turn. A clay pot, a scroll of immunity, and finally an enemy. Of course it is. Of course it's an enemy. So that leaves Erin with a single action point and an enemy at her toes. That enemy is Wild Hound number 6. And again, Wild Hound number 6, it's going to be attacked. It only defends with 1d6. It only has a single health point, so 7 or above is an insta-kill. And it's a 9, so off it goes straight away to the big kennel in the sky. Sorry about that, Wild Hound number 6. But there we are. And that is Erin's turn over. On to Norlessa for action points. Oh, Snake Eyes, okay. Well, she's going to search once, find a gold piece, search a second time. Jocks Madness. So this would normally, in fact it does, take away all your remaining action points and end your turn, but Norlessa was thoughtful enough to find that with her final action point. No problem. Not yet again. Hello, first time finding you here and I checked out the Kickstarter. Are there scenarios in this or is each play a random dungeon crawl? Hello, not yet again. Thanks for joining us and I'm so glad you found us. This is dungeon 4 of 6. The base game arrives with 6 different dungeons. Every Thursday at 8 PM GMT we run through a homebrew written by one of you guys. So if you want to throw us a couple of hundred words of a scenario that uses our very simple introductory level gaming system called the Storm system, that allows you to give, take, use, fight, search or move your way around our dungeon, then please go ahead and send it in. I'll have a read, we'll tweak it a little bit, we'll name you as the author and then we'll play it for you on Thursday evening. We've already played 3 or 4 people's scenarios and heartily enjoyed them, investigating all sorts of new mechanics, laminating cards for new enemies, etc. But the Gorgon's Loch itself comes with 8 different enemy types, 5 pre-generated characters, lots of traps and treasure and magical scrolls, and yes, it comes with 6 pre-generated dungeon scenarios that are like this. And you've got the scenario itself, you've got any special tiles it requires, obviously you've got a map for that particular one, and then you've got a success situation that will take you onto the next dungeon in the scenario if you want to run all 6 like a campaign. But yeah, thanks for joining us. Okay, so this particular dungeon, we had to find and spawn this magical combination lock, which we have found. We then needed to search our way through the 100 strong deep search pile, finding 6 empty scrolls and 2 gems. As you can see here, we've found 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. So we've got a single empty scroll to find. We've found both of the gems and then the dungeon is complete, and I'll read you the success scenario that, if we were playing as a campaign, would then take you on to dungeon number 5. So now everybody has had their turn and done various things, so now it's the turn of Norlessa Tundershak. She is our human orphan raised by orcs character, and she has 9 action points. So with her 9 action points, she's going to take 1 step toward Erin, leaving her with 8. She's going to gift Erin the Scroll of Defence, leaving her with 7. And I think she'll also use the Scroll of Vitality. This scroll allows you or someone in the same room to gain 2 health points. You must then return this card to the bottom of the search pile. So I'm going to go ahead and zap Erin with that for another action point. So that leaves me with 6, and it leaves Erin with 8 health points, the same as me. Now I'm going to have a search for this darn missing scroll. Oh, and I found an enemy straight away. So now I must stop working through my 4 allowed searches for the turn while I vanquish this enemy. The enemy is Wild Hound number 4. So not a hugely powerful enemy, so it shouldn't be a problem. There's its health point. Now I'm going to use an action point to attack it. I attack with 2d6. This poor Wild Hound only defends with 1, and it only has 1 health point. So if I roll 7 or above, it's an insta-kill on the Wild Hound. And it looks like I have. Yep, that's 10. Bye-bye, Pooch. Straight back to the evil kennel in the sky for you. So now I'm in an enemy-free room again. Now I'm allowed to search, so I'll continue on my search. The next search, Jocks Madness. There are 2 cards like this, Jocks Madness and Right Delirium. Jocks Madness reads, a mysterious cloud of smoke engulfs you. Coughing and choking, you fall to your knees and close your eyes. Confused and disorientated, your turn ends. So it doesn't matter how many action points Norlessa Tundershak has got left. They go down to 0, and now it would be the enemy turn if indeed we had any enemies. There are no enemies on the board at the moment, so back we go to the very first player, Erin Bloodborn, who is rolling for action points. Oh, Snake Eyes, great. So with Snake Eyes, I guess she's got to have a search. We've got to find this missing scroll, surely. Typical, we've found an enemy. That leaves Erin toe-to-toe with a random enemy with a single attack. And she has spawned Wild Hound number 2. Wild Hound number 2 is here. Right in front of Erin. There's its health point. Go, Erin. I hope you kill it. 7 or more is an insta-kill. Oh no! Snake Eyes. This is eminently survivable for the Wild Hound. defending against 2, the single dice. 5, it's absolutely fine. So Erin's run out of action points. Luckily, it's now Norlessa's turn before the enemy turn, so Norlessa is going to roll for her action points. 11. I'd imagine 11 is going to be plenty. What she's going to do first is she's going to get a bit of distance between them, I think. So Erin looks like Norlessa looks like she's running away. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that'll leave her with 7 action points. Then she's going to use the Scroll of Death. This powerful scroll will render any one enemy in the same room dead. You must then return this card to the bottom of the search pile. So she's going to zap Doggy back to the pound. That also works with the Gorgon Queen, so you can imagine how powerful that card is when you come to the later scenarios, particularly if you're very weak indeed and you've got a couple of action points to choose whether to search or whether to try and attack her while weakened. Some of the playthroughs have had characters where they're with their second to last action point finding the Scroll of Death and with their last action point killing the Gorgon Queen, so it's very exciting. Right, so she's got five action points left. So she's going to have a search. She's in an enemy-free room now, so why not? So she's going to search and finds a swinging blade trap. So when you find a trap, you roll a single d6. 1, 2, or 3, you are unharmed. 4, 5, or 6, you lose a health point, unless you have a Scroll of Immunity, which can reverse the effect of a triggered trap. So here we go. 3, she's unharmed. 1, 2, or 3, she's unharmed. Okay, so on we go. She's got 4 action points left now. She's going to continue her search. Of course, finds another enemy. This enemy is Skeleton number 12, a slightly more robust enemy this time. 2 health points, so the insta kill on the first on the attacks at full health has to be 8 or above, and that's precisely what Norlessa is going to do. Or attempt. 6. It can survive by rolling a 5 or a 6, and it rolls a 5. So it loses 1 health point, but it's still there. Norlessa only has 2 action points remaining now, so she's going to attack it again. Oh dear, with 3. It defends. With 6, it's absolutely fine again. With Norlessa's final attack. Wow. Wow. With Norlessa's final attack, given that it only defends with a single d6, she essentially smashes Skeleton number 12 to powder. Goodbye, Skeleton number 12. You would be very good to feed roses now, I would imagine. Wow, that was quite a dispatch there. Okay, so that is Norlessa Tundershak's turn. That's over. No enemies again. Back we go to Erin Bloodborn. Let's see if we can find this missing empty scroll. 6. The first search reveals the empty scroll. It's the last one. It's the last one. Brilliant. So she's got 6 action points. Now she's got 5. So you just searched. Where is she? She's standing right next to the magical combination lock. So she's going to place it in there for 4. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 empty scrolls, the blue gem and the yellow gem. She's got 4 action points left, which, as with every turn in the Gorgon's Loch, you must use. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now I believe that's the win condition for this particular dungeon. So I'm going to have a look and I'm going to read. There is a warning. Only read below if you believe you have completed the dungeon. So let's have a look. To succeed, as well as finding out where in the dungeon the magical combination lock lies, right there, a blue gem and a yellow gem, and all 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 empty scrolls must be placed into the magical combination lock, which we have, spending 1 action point per item to put them in. Success! The scrolls and gems slide into each of the 8 recesses in the large stone tile lock. As the final item fits into place, a crack appears across the tile's face, then the tile breaks and falls away, revealing a vertical shaft that disappears into the murky depths below. You have come this far, so, teetering on the edge to regain your composure for a few seconds, you jump feet first into the abyss and allow the darkness to engulf you. Congratulations for making it this far. The penultimate dungeon of your campaign awaits. If you are ready to continue your campaign, turn over to start Dungeon 5. Ba, ba, ba. And Dungeon 5 is tipping the balance. But we can possibly investigate that with another stream. So look, thanks very much for joining us. I hope you enjoyed that. I'm now going to have a little yatter about the game itself while I'm putting it all away. I like to do closed box to closed box scenarios so you can see just how long it takes, including setup, without, you know, things like loaded boxes and all the rest of it. When we started this scenario this afternoon, the first thing I noticed when I opened the box was there was all the stuff from the previous campaign, which was one of our homebrews written by Steph Wyeth. Still there, still in the box, so I had to kind of peel through all that. But I don't think it took too long to set up. I think we were probably set up from closed box to rolling for health points to get the characters started in about 10 minutes, I would imagine. All of this stuff, by the way, if you were running on into the next scenario, there are two things you can do with this. Obviously, you can hold on to all your health scrolls and everything else, but with your treasure, you can purchase a health buffer for the start of the next scenario. So at a rate of 10 gold pieces worth of stuff per health point, you can purchase up to a health buffer of 6 health points. Now when you start the campaign, when you start any dungeon, the very first thing you do is you roll 2d6 right here for your starting health points. 2d6 is a maximum of 12. We're not going to let you buy a health buffer all the way up to 12 points by giving us 120 gold pieces worth, but you can purchase up to 6. What that means is if you roll 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5, you'll start the dungeon with 6. If you roll a 7, 8, 9, 10 or 11 or 12, you will start the number with that. You'll start the scenario with that number. This isn't an additive. You don't buy health points to then be added to your d6. The maximum you can get is 12. So we consider it a health buffer. The reason we do this is there is a lot of treasure in the Gorgon's Loch, and although there are a couple of scenarios, actually scenario number 5, tipping the balance, relies on actually handing over quite a lot of treasure within the live game scenario. But otherwise, it's at the end of a scenario, before the start of the next scenario, that you want to start using your treasure and the items that you're not using. For example, if you've got a couple of ranged weapons, you can use that. You can trade one in and give yourself a bit of a health buffer if you want to. It's also a good opportunity to hand out your treasure to your fellow, perhaps beleaguered, perhaps previously killed dungeon mates before you start the next scenario, so that they can use the free trade mechanic at the start and end of every scenario to get themselves prepared for their next run at the dungeon. So I hope that's clear. And yeah, there's quite a few interesting little tweaks to the rules since March. It's basically exactly the same game with exactly the same scenarios. We've just tweaked the rules a little bit. One of the rule tweaks that really helped to stop things like enemies getting clogged up in corridors and stuff was that enemies may now move through each other in the same way that player characters can, and previously they couldn't. But now that more powerful enemies can sort of sweep past weaker, short moving enemies in corridors and things, that's really helped to balance that stuff out. Enemies wise for this scenario, we didn't have any Lycan Hall Walkers, any Queen's Guard. We didn't have the Gorgon Queen herself. So yeah, there are lots of enemies in the Gorgon's Loch, and yeah, and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found that fun to watch, and will come and join us again. So yeah, Thursday 8 PM GMT, we run through our homebrew scenarios. So that's scenarios that you guys have written and sent in, and we've tweaked so that we can use the Storm gaming system to play them for you. We're always interested in things like new mechanics or new ways to use the system, because of course it all helps us to discover the capabilities of the system, rather than just assuming that we've thought of everything and everything's brilliant. I think that's a very arrogant way of looking at game design. We would much rather listen to people who play games on a regular basis, and see what they think. So there we are, closed box to closed box, one Gorgon's Loch scenario complete. So I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks very much for joining us. And if not before, I shall see you on Thursday evening, 8 p.m. GMT for our next homebrew. So thanks again. Don't forget to go ahead and do the thing with the link right here. And you'll see on just about every update and in the comments as well on the Kickstarter, once you reach that page, to go and click on the Visit Project big green button link on kicktrack.com. We've been very lucky to maintain in the top 20 of the tabletop board games since we launched this thing a month ago, and I mean every single day. So that's really helpful for visibility. It really helps us get the word out. So thank you very much, adventurers. I hope you enjoyed that. Farewell, and I'll see you in the comments. And yeah, thanks to the new guys who've turned up in the chat as well to come and have a chat as well. I didn't think anyone would turn up today because it was just an impromptu stream. So yes, thank you very much indeed. I hope you have a lovely day, and if I haven't seen or chatted to you about it already, a very happy new year to you too. Farewell, adventurers.